think starting with Lee, who's then going to invite a real-life minister. Well, she's a minister at the moment, who's a very shocking the right minister by the end of the day is another matter. But thank you all for coming today. Thank you, NY, for making it possible, and I hope you've got something out of it today, because I certainly did. It was a really interesting session, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Colleagues, thank you so much. It's been an interesting day. We've had a lot of, for those with us this morning and early afternoon, we've had a lot of rich conversation and dialogue and input from some incredible speakers, and I'm really grateful to everybody. I've got a few things I want to be able to sort of show on the screen briefly, but I talked this morning, and I just want to reiterate the huge success of Youth Work Week. Tim, you talked about we need to make as much noise as possible. 3 million people heard of Youth Work Week last week and got involved. And that's only down to, the NYA can create a space, a platform. It's for you to fill it. It's for you to collaborate with us, partner with us, and to fill it. And my gosh, the youth sector stood up last week and made a big noise. And I'm grateful to ministers for their tweeting and getting involved and encouraging departments to do so. And here's some additional other messages that we didn't show this morning. Why does this matter? I mean, what we heard as an organisation is, we hear this a lot, is it's amazing for the NYA to be representing the sector in all the places and spaces that we can. So whether that's here in Parliament, in the Minister's office, with funders, with all sorts of people who might make decisions or not make the wrong decisions or not know what decision to make. And it's our, one of the things that we like to do, we see as our job, is to bring colleagues together. But what we heard last year was we need to do more to amplify local grassroots voices up into the national agenda. It's fine for me to go down these meetings, but take some young people with me, take more youth workers with us. Let's talk, let's take those practitioners from the ground and put them in front of those people who make the decisions. And that's exactly what we're aiming to do. We've restructured the NYA last year. I didn't really touch on this morning, but it's incredible. We have doubled ourselves in size, and it's one level, that's a huge achievement. I'm very proud of it. On the other, I'm very conscious that on the ground, frontline voluntary youth projects, for example, local authorities are still under as much strain as ever and not necessarily feeling it. What I talked about this morning is NYA is working with our stakeholders, with our partners, to build the foundations in which, when we make that noise and when we get those opportunities, we can absolutely maximise it. And those foundations are now there, and we can now build this youth sector that we need and young people deserve in this country. We've increased the investment in our policy team, and we've got partnership managers who work with our regional colleagues and our local colleagues to drive that voice up through everything we do. And I'm really proud that we've been able to engineer that, thanks to corporate sponsorship, thanks to investment from government to help us with our overall plan, and we've got a lot to do. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to say to our commitment to the sector is to listen to you, is to amplify your voices and to work collaboratively with you in that process. It's not about NYA, it's about young people, it's about youth work, it's about securing the right offer and the future for our sector that works for everybody, and that is what we're collectively behind. One other thing I wanted to just highlight in terms of the profile raising, early this year we hosted the Global Commonwealth Youth Work Conference. This is the largest youth work conference outside North America. If you go to North America, there's like 10,000 people come. We had 1,200 delegates attend online and in person in Reading. We brought youth workers from all over the globe to the UK, and we spent 3 days with the most incredible speakers from all over the world talking about youth work, celebrating every element of it that is fabulous. And its challenges, and some of the challenges I see in Leeds are the same as they are in the Caribbean. They are slightly different contexts, of course, but the challenges, the need, poverty, wherever you are in the world is the same. And so it was really good to be able to interlink and connect that. This is a vast achievement of pulling this event off. It took literally 2/3 of our staff team 4 days running around organising it, and I'm very proud of us for what we achieved with that. But what we created was a global platform that followed up about 2 months later. All the Commonwealth Youth Ministers came to London and congregated, not that far down the road, down the mall at St James's Palace, and spent 4 days talking about the need to invest in youth work on a global scale. That dialogue is as rich in that room as it was in this room today. So I just wanted to say thanks to the team that worked on this. There's lots of videos, there's lots of content, there were hundreds of papers, there was all sorts of things, it's all available, so do look into it. It was a massive success in terms of celebrating youth work as we move forward. Press the button. That's the speakers. So a couple of things I wanted to touch on. One of the things from this morning was the language around youth work is always changing. So when 5 years ago, you wouldn't necessarily have heard the uniformed youth sector talking about youth work in the same way as we do today. And what we've been able to do, working with as I said, Girl Guides and Scouts and others, is to share language across the piece and see, well, actually, there's huge similarities. It's done in different contexts, it's done in different places and spaces, but there's huge similarities between practice and what we're trying to achieve for young people. And actually, by bringing all those voices collectively together and around the national roadmap, is one example, but actually talking in a unified voice around youth work in all its forms, and that can include in a uniform context, it can include on a street, it can include in a hospital, it can include on a farm, is about amplifying that voice that Tim's telling us to do. It was a really helpful challenge. So my challenge to everybody here is to take that on board and to make that noise collectively, but make a consistent noise. It's not helpful if lots of people are making different noises in different places. And locally that's less of a problem, but on a regional, national level, be unified. Let's have one clear voice to government, to funders, to decision makers. And that way we'll get heard, that way we'll make a bigger difference. 2 million young people this week will engage in youth work. And that's including our uniformed youth projects, that's including youth clubs, that's including local authority provision, stuff in schools, hospitals, all those places. 2 million. That's about a third of our population, the youth population. You take the teenage ages anyway. And they spend 85% of their waking hours outside of school. And that is where we come into our own. That's where our sector is there at the point of need to make the greatest difference. And so I thank everybody in this room who's a practitioner, and I thank your organisations for working collaboratively, and I thank what you do for young people, because collectively we make a vast difference. And the world doesn't necessarily know that difference that we make. If anyone read my blog, we put out last week for Youth Work Week, I had an amazing moment where I bumped into a guy who's about 35 in my local, no, he was about 30 in my local co-op, and he went, "Oi, Lee." And I went, this bloke, and I've got no idea who he was, beard, and anyway, this chap is a gentleman called Sean, who when he was 15, I was working with as a detached youth worker in gravel pits, because the place the police never found you was when you were down the gravel pits, right? You could be tucked away and out the way, and they make as much noise as you like, let the fireworks off. They were a fun group, let's put it like that. And Sean was written off by most public services. He was written off by the police as problematic child number 1 in Berkshire. He was, that's where I worked. He was on the children's services list. He was on everyone's list, but nobody was connecting with him. But we managed, my youth work team managed to connect with him. I was brand new out of university, green as you get. I mean, God, I knew nothing compared to what I know now. But Sean told me in that shop that he's now a dad of 3, he's married, he's got a business, he employs 4 people, and he lives 4 roads down from me in a bigger bloody house. and he said really clearly, I would have been in prison multiple times if it hadn't been for that youth, and he never went to prison. He skirted the criminal justice system for sure, but he never went there due to the power of youth work. So for all those youth workers that are out there making that difference, who've got those stories in their back pocket, tell them, tell the world, get the other people to tell their story, because there's nothing more powerful. Thank you for me. Really important and influential supporters of the youth sector, and our next speaker is a special one. Mims was the youth minister for quite a few years, and it was Mims that rescued the NYC financially. It was Mims that signed off our very first grant when the government reconnected with the NYA and agreed to fund us again, and it was a critical moment, because without that we wouldn't be here today. So the sector, if you think the NYA is doing a good job and is doing, and is impressive, we can thank Mims for recognising that very early on when we were going help. So I'd like to introduce Mims Davis, Minister for Social Mobility at DWP. So if you would.
Thank you very much. afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to move this. It's a little bit making a noise. Distracting. There we go. It's lovely to be part of something celebratory. I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. That was the opposite of what Tim was talking about earlier, isn't it? And I love the way that Tim got away with talking about being a diva. That's brilliant. And thank you so much, Tim, for sponsoring this event. And what a fantastic week Youth Work has had. And it's a real honour to join you all, and many people that I know around the room, because I think Lee's pretty right. For pretty much the last 5-6 years of my time in Parliament, I've basically been stalking the youth sector in a good way, trying to make sure that you have a strong advocate and you have that understanding in government and across the backbenches. And what a brilliant week of celebration we have. And apologies, I was in the chamber earlier, so a little bit late coming in. No calls from number 10 yet. What's really amazing, if you do the walk down there, they've got these people sort of hidden in bushes with little walkie-talkies on, telling you which way to go and things like that, but you don't see that on the telly. But at the moment, I'm still here. So this week's theme, youth work in every place and space, and I was not expecting that from Tim in terms of how you reach people, but absolutely right. Really understanding the range of activity across the UK, in youth clubs, in outdoor education centres, in cultural spaces, amongst many other places to support young people. In fact, I was at the Lowry just in the last couple of weeks, just seeing how cultural and creative spaces can really reach young people, and that's where that trust, that connection, that change of life can really happen. So those that do know me know that I have got a massive passion and commitment to supporting our young people. I think they get a bad rap, and I don't think they get enough of the opportunities that many of us maybe took for granted, or indeed, as we heard from Lee, someone plucked us out, saw something, believed in us, and just kept going with us. And if we don't give that to other people, that opportunity for personal growth, building confidence, gaining those vital skills and preparing for the world of work just isn't there. So I have literally been Lee's groupie at conference. I think I lived in the youth zone. I'm sorry, Baron, I'm trying to do a different speech today for you. But as the Minister for Social Mobility, Youth and Progression, I pushed really hard for that title. No idea how long I'll keep it. But the point is, they wanted me to be the Minister for Opportunities, and I was like, well, I'm not a game show. Let's talk about what we really mean here. And actually, we had a great example from Lee. And just last week, I met some of those people who that social mobility, that progression, that opportunity really did mean something. And the privilege you have when you meet the young people where it's gone right. And we're all here because we're worried about the people where it's not going right. And that's what we need to be doing, making sure that firsthand those stories of success, they go to those people where their experiences and their impact of the life that they're having is just too much for them. And highlighting the importance to the right person, the right opportunity at the right time. Because actually that's the key point, isn't it? To see them through the next point of their life and see that development. And we know that young people are getting the chance to better themselves, whether in that formal setting, and right now we know because of COVID actually the informal settings are absolutely key. And none of this happens by accident. This is the dedication that you give, the commitment that you give in the room today, and all those continuing to do the work across communities. And the NYA have played a key role in championing and really making people, I think, as Tim said, properly start to really understand the role of youth workers. And certainly in my time at DCMS, I agree, there was a proliferation of things and asks, and actually a clear ask for young people really makes a difference. So the professionalism, the work of all the organisations here today, the dedication and the passion for young people to have that opportunity to be themselves, to get that confidence, to socialise and move forward is absolutely vital, because it affects everything, doesn't it? From that experience of education, that experience of relationships, That first job, we know it's so much more than a pay packet, absolutely, the whole way through life. It's the chance to, you know, be part of the team, or as we heard from Lee earlier, actually running her own business. Many of us can point to maybe a sports team or an after-school club or an activity that had a really positive impact. And this is made possible for those young people that we know who maybe, with youth work and the right opportunities, will reach out to young people. And actually it's not a one-size-fits-all at all. However, the trip to the Caribbean sounded like an option I would take. Just to see how it goes there. DCM, I might be getting some now, I won't say. DCMS, of course, have the lead role when it comes to supporting youth work, but I'll be really honest, I've been literally on their tail when I've been at DWP, talking to people who felt a bit stalked. Minister Andrew has very much felt like that, and then working with Rob Halfon over at DFE to make sure that the National Youth Guarantee, the work with sector guidance and the investment in infrastructure lands in your communities. There is one thing, okay, what have we learned from COVID and what have I learned from my time as being a minister, it's building in agility to make sure that programmes work in your community. If we're really talking about levelling up and making things work, we've got to go beyond the slogans to build that ability and agility in for you to do the right thing for the young people in front of you. And the recent announcements around tailored work experience for young people through the Summer Jobs Programme, the success of the year of service. One of the most wonderful things at the celebration that I went to is chatting to a young lady who came back after that programme and said, "Pims, I took your advice," and what she'd done is she'd started her pension. She said, it was a question I'd been asked a few months previous. What would I do if I had the chance to look back? And I said, do you know what? Divorce, insecure jobs. Oh yeah, I'd start that pension. So she did, and that was brilliant because not only had she got into work, she got that opportunity. She was seeing and building for her future. What kind of outcome could we all want for our young people other than that? The cross-government work that I've mentioned is absolutely key. This is so much bigger than one department, one area. Our young people have to know that every department and every initiative works for them, and that's why, frankly, I'm always on their tail. So I promise you that those coordinations through the forum that I've put together with Minister Andrew, Minister Halford, means that we're there to do that. Now, DWP, let's turn to my own department. We know that long-term unemployment, or that lack of hope, that lack of opportunity, means that someone's future earnings, their life chances, everything is impacted if they don't get the chance to enter and succeed in employment. We know it's a central and pivotal role when it comes to our young people getting the chances to have the futures that they deserve. Those fulfilling careers and that progress. Oh my goodness, what is that? Okay, someone's talking me now. But so that's why we have really turned around the DWP Youth Offer. It now kicks in at 16. That's really key. I see people at 19, 23, 24. There's moments where they seem to be with us and we need to give them that extra help. That includes our new DWP Youth Hubs. We've got around 140 across the country where housing, support when it comes to well-being, mental health, whatever's going on at home, whatever's not going on at home can be tackled to make sure that those barriers, when you're young, they're extra big to get over, that they're there for you. And our youth employability work coaches are there, dialed in to support people with those complex needs. Get that extra bit of support, not in a job centre, to make sure they move closer to work. And since its start in 2020, over 600,000 young people have had that expanded help. And that means, guess what? They needed it, and I'm delighted it's there for them. And we've got more going on when it comes to Job Centre Plus. So please look at the Job Help website, please look at the youth hubs, and please understand there's more there at DWP than maybe even youth law. And social mobility, that is absolutely about spreading that opportunity more widely, that your postcode doesn't define your future, your network doesn't define your future, your current doesn't define your future. Every child and young person must have that same opportunity to express their talents, build their confidence and get that best start in life. And we have championed with Talk, and a big thank you to them, the Social Mobility Pledge Consortium. It's a partnership with over 100 businesses to have measurable commitments, because it's all right launching pledges and all of these covenants, forget it. If they do nothing, they just look nice on a website, that's not enough. But if we want vulnerable people or people with extra barriers to progress and deliver in the workforce, that's how we've got to change it, from a commitment to doing the right thing to delivering it. And also we're leading from the front when it comes to the care leaver internship at DWP, the social mobility apprenticeship scheme, movement to work, and everything else. Just to say we're in the top 10 for lots of things, other people not so much. So I'm trying to make sure we mark our own homework. And in the most recent Youth Hub visit that I went to Stockport, seeing young people with smiles on their faces, with the opportunities in front of them and the barriers overcome, and how they're then able to share that with their friends and family and young people in their life, just put a massive smile on my face. And it's what we do day in, day out when it comes to DWP. I have teased for quite a while that we're actually the real department for levelling up. So a huge thank you for this last week, a huge thank you for everything you do. Thank you for believing, supporting our young people, giving them the opportunity to fulfil their potential in life, and let's just keep doing more of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis, for your ongoing support. I'd now like to welcome Amira to the stand, please. Amira has got the National Youth Agency, some of the young assessors of the Youth Investment Fund Programme. Is now going to be sharing her lived experiences of youth work with us today. Please will welcome Amira to the stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amira, and I'm here to talk to you about youth work. You would have guessed, youth work has progressed massively in the last few years, and young people's opinions, feelings, and rights have been pushed to the forefront. However, it's still not perfect, because most feelings ever are. My experience with youth work up until recently mainly consists of sitting, being talked at, and receiving as license pieces and forced on my pathway statement for my evidence. Most of my friends feel the same. I've experienced good youth work together, but I thought was taken into account and had a real impact on the decisions made. I was given the opportunity to meaningfully engage. I believe every young person should have that opportunity. I recognise that this is not always possible, as it's been said in panel. Access to opportunity, funding, and other factors have and will continue to impact the way youth work is delivered. At the same time, I have faith that providing young people access to quality youth work, both in and out of educational settings, can help us in realising and achieving our goals. Personally, actively participating in youth work has made me more outspoken, not only politically, but in my everyday life. The main issue, I suppose, is attempting to close the gaps in both access in youth work and quality, which is an incredibly easy statement to make. Just do better. But how do we do that, especially with everything going on in the world right now? How do we ensure that no young people slip through the cracks? In my area, I'm personally beginning to see more and more youth work services crop up, which is truly amazing. People like me have things to do other than just going to school and going back home. Things that don't involve paying excessive amounts of money or hanging out in potentially unsafe areas, especially now that it's getting dark. Simultaneously, however, I am seeing massive budget cuts to almost all of the pre-existing services. Again, nothing is ever perfect, but a balance has to be struck between annexing our old services and creating new opportunities. My peers and I are of the belief that our government, educational facilities, and youth sectors should cooperate and try to find a way so that every young person who chooses has access to a youth worker. Honestly, I don't know how that would work or what it would entail, but I have utter faith that it could become a reality for all young people. I do know that it would require a massive amount of work, but I have hope that the opinions, feelings, and safety of young people will continue to be centred. The challenges faced by but why is youth work important in the first place? The challenges faced by young people are innumerable, from exam stress, navigating our social lives, and forming our opinions in the world. Societal expectations and educational pressures weigh heavily down upon us. So how does youth work factor into all of this? For starters, it provides a safe and inclusive environment for us to explore and empower us to achieve. And empowered young people lead to a more resilient and engaged national community. This environment also provides a place where we can grow and start to become leaders, thereby influencing community dynamics. It fosters a sense of responsibility and begins to stoke awareness about global issues in young people, which prepares us for adult life. Inclusive youth work spaces are integral to the development of young people. It promotes understanding, tolerance, and respect among young people, and it forces us to see each other's viewpoints and debate in a healthy, non-hostile environment. Overall, although youth work has advanced greatly, there is still so much more it could achieve, as it has the ability to influence every young person spectacularly. And I strongly believe we all need to work together in order to build our youth services in every setting as much as possible. It's been a privilege to speak in front of you, to not only voice my own thoughts, but listen to everyone else's on the panels. Thank you so much for listening, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you very much for that speech, Amira. I'd now like to close today and say a massive thank you to all the speakers that came through today, especially all the panelists and everyone that was at the Youth Club Summit earlier today. I'd like to say a particular thank you to our sponsor today, that was Tim Loughton, the MP, and to all the parliamentaries who have joined throughout today. You've all been a wonderful audience, and I wish you all a good evening. Quick one, just feel free to dig into the coffees. Me and Anusha, put your hand up, please. Where's Anusha? Me and Anusha, we're going to go around asking you guys questions as well, so stick around for that. Thank you all for today. Take care.
So Mark, was it last week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was great. Yeah,